क्लाइंटल इफेक्ट। क्लाइंटल इफेक्ट को समझने के लिए हम फूड इंडस्ट्री की बात करते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर एक नेबरहुड के अंदर फास्ट फूड की कोई बड़ी चेन ऑलरेडी जो है वो वर्क कर रही है, लाइक मैकडोनल्ड, तो वहाँ पे आप उसी सेम प्रोडक्ट को ऑफर करके बिजनेस जनरेट नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज already there is a big player and that is serving the market well. लिहाजा अगर आपको कैसी मार्केट के अंदर सक्सेसफुल कोई बिजनेस करना है, then it should be something different, like local foods। ठीक है, सो लोकल फूड्स का जो कस्टमर है, लाइक देसी फूड्स, वो अभी तक जो है उनकी नीड्स अनमेट हैं। तो लिहाजा अगर आप इस मार्केट में सर्व करना चाहते हैं और सक्सेसफुल होना चाहते हैं, देन यू शुड ऑफर समथिंग डिफरेंट एज कंपेयर टू द फास्ट फूड। इसी तरह अगर हम फर्म्स की बात करें, तो फर्म्स को भी डिसाइड करना पड़ता है कि इनको अपने इन्वेस्टर्स को किस तरह अट्रैक्ट करना है। Some investors might have preference towards low dividend or no dividend. Some other investors might want very high dividend. Therefore, firm has to think carefully what kind of investors they want to attract towards their companies. And if firms change their payout policy, like if you're already paying a high dividend and now you want to shift towards a low payout, or you were paying a low dividend before but now you want to move towards a high dividend, then there will be implications towards that kind of policy, because investors have different preferences. Maybe some investors who are already investing into your company because you are paying a high payout now move to another company because you have shifted towards low payout. So in that case, if we see that, then dividend policy matters, क्योंकि हम ये सारी डिस्कशन कर चुके हैं कि इन्वेस्टर्स की प्रेफरेंस किन बेसिस के ऊपर डिफरेंट हो सकती हैं, क्यों कुछ इन्वेस्टर्स जो हैं उनको हाई डिविडेंड चाहिए और क्यों कुछ इन्वेस्टर्स को लो डिविडेंड पसंद होता है। Another small concept is stock repurchases. ऐसा हो सकता है कि फार्म जो है वो डिविडेंड ना दे रही हो, बट फार्म जो है वो स्टॉक रीपरचेजेस कर रही हो। It's another way to distribute cash. If you have a lot of cash but you don't have profitable investment opportunities, then you can use that cash to buy back your own shares. Or your stock price is too low and you want to increase your stock price, then again you can use this stock repurchase option. Or maybe your stock price is currently undervalued in the market and you want to increase it and make it equal towards your intrinsic value, then again you can move to the stock repurchases. So stock repurchases can be of different types. One is tender offer. In that, company states the purchase price and desired number of shares. For example, company had a plan to repurchase 10,000 shares at price of 50 each. So there is a price which is a fixed price and a fixed number of shares. Next may be open market. Company can just go to the open market and start buying stock on a price whichever is prevailing in the market. We call it market price. Another way company can repurchase its share is through targeted offer. It's similar to tender offer in few ways. So in targeted offer, you actually target some specific segment. For example, you say that a company had a plan to repurchase share, but only employees can sell. Or company can say we have a plan to repurchase shares from big shareholders who have more than 5,000 shares. Or we can say who have more than 5% shares of a company. So in that case, we are targeting our employees only and only the big shareholders. But there can be different motives, like you don't want to uh, make your employees honor, but before you had that option for employees, but not anymore. So that's why you are trying to repurchase stock from employees. So to motivate employees to sell their stock, you have to give some premium to them. So for example, if the open market price is 45, then you might be buying it at a price of 55. Same is the case with the big shareholders, like 5% shares are enough to influence the decision making in an organization or to influence the board of directors or to elect your board member in an organization. So company might not want to have such kind of big shareholders on the board or don't so to involve more public and to have more representations, they might want to dissolve their ownership and sell it to the others or just dispose of. So in real world, stock repurchases allows investor to decide if they want the current cash flow and associated tax consequences. Traditionally, stocks repurchases are taxed as a capital gain, so we can compare it with the dividend taxes on the dividend. If the taxes on the dividends are higher, then stock repurchases might be an attractive option. But if a company is going on aggressive repurchases and doing a very heavy repurchase plan, then they have to take permission from regulators like Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan's, uh, who determines that the sole purpose of this repurchase is not to hurt any particular investors or just to avoid the taxes. So if the repurchases are with the good intentions, then they allow it. Otherwise, you cannot do it. Stock repurchases have some information content like they send a positive signal. Remember that we do stock repurchases when our stock is undervalued. For example, our book value or intrinsic value of stock is 45, and currently in the market our stock is selling at 35. So to increase this stock price, we are going for a repurchase, or we can have our stock back by giving 35 rupees only while its real price is 45. So we can make, or we can save 10 rupees on each shares. So that's why whenever company is making repurchases, then it gives a very positive signals to the market that their stock is currently undervalued. Therefore, we should buy that kind of stock because it is cheap as compared to its original value. Tender offer sends a more positive signals than the open market repurchase because the company is trading a specific price. With the specific price, the investors can judge the real price of the company. Real price of the stock. The stock price often increases when the repurchases are announced, right? Because there is a demand created after the announcement of the stock repurchases because it's expected that stock is undervalued, so a lot of investors will be interested to invest in this stock. Therefore, that increased demand will increase the stock price. This is an example of standard example of repurchase announcement. Give it a read. So let's see some of the regulations in Pakistan. So buyback or repurchases of shares rules were first unveiled in 1999. We have a company's ordinance 1984, and through an amendment into this ordinance, the buyback of shares was allowed in 1999. These regulations allowed companies to repurchase their shares but also required the cancellation of those shares. So आप अपने शेयर्स खरीद सकते हैं लेकिन आपको उनको कैंसिल करना पड़ेगा। इसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम ये हुआ क्योंकि आप शेयर्स खरीदने के बाद उनको फ़ौरन ही कैंसिल कर रहे हैं, लिहाजा अगर आपको नियर फ्यूचर के अंदर कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट की ज़रूरत होती है दैन यू हैव टू इशू न्यू एक्विटी, तो उसकी वजह से आपकी जो है वो कॉस्ट बढ़ सकती है। लिहाजा इस किस्म की कंडीशंस की वजह से जो ये शेयर रीपरचेज की ड्राइव है ये कुछ ज़्यादा पॉपुलर नहीं हो सकी क्योंकि आपको अपने शेयर्स को कैंसिल करना पड़ता था, और आप जब नए शेयर्स इशू करते हैं किसी नई इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए देन यू हैव टू बियर अ लॉट ऑफ फ्लोटेशन कॉस्ट, और उसमें आपको काफ़ी ज़्यादा वेट भी करना पड़ता है, प्रमोशन, अंडर राइटर एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, यू हैव टू मीट ऑल द फॉर्मेलिटीज़। लिहाजा फर्म्स ने इस ऑप्शन को ज़्यादा यूज़ नहीं किया। ऐसी प्रॉब्लम को देखते हुए अगस्त 2015 के अंदर एक नई अमेंडमेंट इसके अंदर इंट्रोड्यूस करवाई गई और उस अमेंडमेंट ने क्या किया कि इसने अलाउ किया कंपनीज को टू repurchase their own stock and hold them as a treasury shares. So now you have your securities with you and you can sell them in the market anytime whenever you want. तो अब जो है repurchase जो है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा हो रही हैं because it gives a flexibility to the organization. So what we know and don't know. So what we know and don't know. So far we know that corporation smooth dividends. For example, there are three options. One is uh, decrease, another is maintain, and third is increase. So what happens if a firm decrease a dividend? We already discussed this one that whenever the firm is decreasing a dividend, it gives a negative signals to the market that firms might not be doing well and may be facing a losses. That's why they are decreasing the dividend. They are not able to, if they are decreasing dividend today, maybe next year they will decrease it even further. And maybe in the future they will not be able to give it anything to us. So second is maintain. Whatever you have given in the last period, you are giving the same. So कोई छेड़खानी नहीं करनी. एंड थर्ड ऑप्शन इज इंक्रीज. आपके पास इस साल अच्छे पैसे हैं, आप डिविडेंड इंक्रीज कर दें. इस साल आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं थी लेकिन अगले साल क्या होगा, फिर आपको वही इंक्रीज डिविडेंड देना पड़ेगा. आप वापस दोबारा उसको डिक्रीज नहीं कर सकते. चाहे नेक्स्ट ईयर आपके प्रॉफिट्स अच्छे हैं लेकिन आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट की नीड्स बहुत ज़्यादा हैं और आप सेम डिविडेंड नहीं दे सकते बिकॉज यू हैव टू इन्वेस्ट द मनी विच माइट बी a better option for the shareholders, but because you are decreasing a dividend, then market will take it negatively. Therefore, the firms try to smooth their dividends, and whenever they have some extra cash, they distribute it in a different way, like maybe through repurchase, right? Or just retain it inside. Dividends provide information to the market, like decrease is a negative signal, increase is a positive signal, maintain is just okay, we are going with the flow. Firms should follow sensible dividend policy. What does we mean by sensible dividend policy? Like your policy should be like that you don't forego positive NPV projects. If you have a very high dividend uh, level, then it will be very hard for the company to invest in all the positive NPV projects. So therefore, companies usually keep their dividend level very low so that if they have positive NPV projects, they can easily invest into that. Otherwise, if they keep their dividend level high, then they have to go to the market to raise more money through debt or cash, through debt or equity, and it takes a lot of time. Then it's possible that you might forego some positive NPV projects. Second is avoid issuing stock to pay dividend. You cannot do that. Uh, it will be a burden on the company that you issue a stock and then give it to your shareholders. What is the point then in issuing stock then? You must be issuing stock when you need money for investment, not for such kind of expenses. Consider share repurchases when there are few better uses for the cash. Putting all together, aggregate payouts are massive and have increased over time. Dividends are concentrated among a small number of large firms and mature firms. Managers are reluctant to cut dividend. Managers smooth dividend. Stock prices react to unanticipated changes in dividends. And this is some survey results. When asked to the managers, they agree to these statements that 93% said that they try to avoid reducing dividends. 89% said they try to maintain a smooth dividend. Actually, both are same things. Almost 41 said they pay dividends to attract investors, like dividend clientele effect. And when asked, they said these things are important. 84% said that maintaining consistency with historic dividend policy is important. Again, referring to clientele effect. Almost 72% said stability of future earnings is important. Just 9% said the flotation cost to issue new equity is important.